Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Rush Hour with me, Sumita Karir, on ET Now. Let's first begin with a top story this evening that we're tracking right here on Rush Hour, and that's related to Bharti Airtel announcing a partnership with SpaceX. The agreement with Elon Musk's SpaceX is to bring Starlink's high-speed internet service in the country. According to Airtel's press note, this collaboration will enhance Airtel's network service. And let's go across to my colleague Sumit Chaturvedi, who's getting us more details on what this partnership really means for Starlink's India entry. Sumit.
Indian telecom service provider Bharti Airtel and Elon Musk owned Starlink, they have joined hands to provide satellite internet services in India. In a statement issued today, the companies have announced it. However, it will be only happening after the Starlink gets all necessary authorizations and approvals in the country. So in a way, both giants are coming together. It can be seen in the light of India and the US also coming together in technological space. In a statement issued today, the both companies said they will complement each other, and it is going to, by integrating Starlink into its offering alongside existing partnership with Eutelsat OneWeb, Airtel will strengthen its ability to provide nationwide coverage, particularly in underserved areas. So it's from a long time that Starlink is trying to enter into the country. However, many times both Indian players and foreign players, including Starlink, they are against each other, how to pay for these services or how to pay for the spectrum. But this time Starlink is going to make an entry into the country. Remember, Bharti Airtel is owned by Sunil Bharti Mittal, and he's one of the biggest czars of Indian telecom space. On the other hand, Elon Musk is, we can say that, a czar of technology, EVs and even satellite communication. So here they are coming together and charting a course to come and capture this market in India. It's also, well, Gopal Vittal, MD of Bharti Airtel, said working with SpaceX to offer Starlink to Airtel customers in India is a significant milestone and further demonstrates our commitment to next-gen satellite connectivity. So in a way, it showcases how Airtel is also treating this important development.
Absolutely, Sumit. It's a significant milestone so far as satellite communications in the country are concerned. And of course, to discuss what this really means for the ecosystem, the licensing approval for Starlink, we're now joined by Jaspreet Bindra, the co-founder of AI and Beyond. Thank you very much, Mr. Bindra, for joining us here on ET Now.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Mr. Bindra, first things first, where does this leave Jio, which is the market leader at present, holding over 50% of subscribers? And is it a given then that it's going to be advantage Airtel?
Well, I think Mr. Mittal has pulled a rabbit out of the hat. None of us were really expecting this. If you remember, until even last week or last week, the Indian telecom operators led by Airtel and Jio were at and Starlink on the other side were at each other's throats. There was a 6-hour meeting with TRAI where they could not agree on things, and now suddenly this. So I think it's a fantastic deal for India, for Airtel, and for Starlink. Jio, obviously, I think would be kind of regrouping and thinking about what its play here can be, given that this is a very significant strategic step that its competition has taken, which could give them a huge advantage in connecting parts of the country which was almost impossible to connect using conventional technologies. So I definitely think Airtel is at an advantage here over Jio.
Airtel definitely at an advantage, and of course, Jio not so much, Mr. Bindra. But this agreement that has happened, remember, it's based on SpaceX securing the necessary authorization for its implementation to be able to operate Starlink in India. So those are some regulatory hurdles that remain a key issue and that have remained a key issue so far as Starlink's India entry is concerned. Would you say it's a bit premature for Airtel then to announce this agreement? And second part of the same question is, how soon do you think these approvals will come in?
Well, this is a good question, and I think that's the main thing now between this deal happening or it remaining fiction. But if you had asked me this question 2 months back, I would have said that it would have been very difficult to get these approvals. But the world has considerably changed in the last 50 days since Elon Trump became the president of the US, and Elon Musk became probably the second most powerful man in the US and therefore the world. And I think there are not only uh, uh, not only connectivity reasons or business reasons, but geopolitical reasons why the Indian government would want this deal to happen, so as to keep Mr. Musk and therefore Donald Trump in the right in their camp. And so I think I do not really. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be huge opposition to it, but I think the geopolitical will issues will overweigh on the other issues, on the political issues, and I expect, therefore, the deal to go through much sooner than it would have in normal circumstances.
Very, very interesting point that you're making, Mr. Bindra, that due to these geopolitical concerns, this deal could happen sooner rather than later. All eyes are now on TRAI, which will be, perhaps communicating these rules that are related to the spectrum allocation of satellite comms. But Mr. Bindra, how does this move really change using internet for users, given that, can one then expect prices to be low if satellite communication comes in a big form in the country? And what does that really mean for broadband?
Well, absolutely. And in fact, just one little point I missed in the last question. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a part of the overall deal that India and the US, the trade deal that India and the US are negotiating now. And maybe that's one of the reasons for the hurry to announce this. Coming to your this question on the pricing and how does it change things, I think the big thing here is not price. The big thing here is that parts of the country which have not been connected so far, remote parts of the country, borders of the country where we desperately need connectivity, or some the industrial clusters which do not lie in big cities, and have not yet been connected from a data standpoint primarily. And I think what Starlink would do is that it would be able to give super high speed data as fast or faster than what our terrestrial networks are giving today to places in the country which have so far had absolutely no exposure to it. I think that is the biggest advantage of the deal. The other big advantage that Starlink gets in this deal is that all of Airtel's distribution would now also distribute SpaceX's Starlink, and so it's a great distribution deal also. So I think in the short and medium term, that really is the importance of the deal. In the longer term, as more and more subscribers happen, and Elon Musk puts in more and more Starlink satellites up there, I think we could definitely have an effect on the cost also. But remember, we as a country are the lowest cost data country in the world, so there isn't much that prices can go down further.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Bindra, for those very, very interesting perspectives, particularly the one on how this could actually be a part of the bilateral trade agreement between the United States and India. On that note, thank you very much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, all eyes are now on TRAI, or the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, that is anticipated to provide details on the pricing structure for the satellite communication spectrum soon. And of course, how soon that in-space license comes in for Starlink, that remains to be seen. But staying with some more news from the tech world, well, sources are suggesting that Apple's 4 new retail stores will come up by the end of 2025, which is the end of this year itself. Apple's Delhi NCR store will come up in Noida's Mall of India, and Apple's additional Mumbai store will be in Navi Mumbai. In addition, fresh new stores will be coming up in Pune and Bengaluru, and in total, these are 4 new stores. And according to Tim Cook's announcement last year, he said that the company hit an all-time high revenue record in the country from iPad, and added that iPhone sales, the country hit an all-time revenue record for iPhone as a product, and added that iPad business also achieved double-digit growth in the country. And on the back of that, Apple is also sprucing up its fresh hiring plans. In fact, the company has begun hiring for these upcoming 4 retail stores in the country, and that's according to a hiring announcement that was posted by Apple's store leader on LinkedIn, John Taffey. These openings are for business experts, technical specialists, supply readiness and development program managers, retail customer care managers as well. Remember, the company is manufacturing iPhone 16 series that include 16e Pro and Pro Max models, apart from previous models in the country. Sources also suggest that Apple India's retail sales, which includes its e-commerce sales and, of course, sales coming in from its physical stores, the company clocked 800 crores in revenues for FY24. So that's as far as Apple's big push on the India market is concerned. Meanwhile, some news coming in from SEBI. Well, SEBI has introduced a new framework for faster rights issue process, and it has directed that the process should now be completed within 23 days from board approval. My colleague Ankur Mishra is joining us with more details. Ankur, so what does the process entail?
Market regulator SEBI has issued new process for faster rights issue process. Currently, the timeline is around 55 days, which is set to be reduced to 23 days if you apply this new process. As far as the application is concerned, on day 0, board of directors will approve the rights issue, and considering from 1 to 7th day, the filing of letter offer with stock exchanges and SEBI can happen. Now 8th day, that is the next day, record date fixed, rights entitlement will be credited, and next 2 days the dispatch letter of offer, advertisements that can be published in the newspaper, and the rights issue can be open for subscription from 14th day, that is from 7 to 30 days, and this whole process will be completed within 23 days. The rights issue with this process can be completed within the timeline. Now, all in all, the new application of norms will happen from 7th of April, and the whole market participants will follow the new process and can make adjustments accordingly.
Thank you very much, Ankur, for bringing us all of those details. And ladies and gentlemen, let's now shift our focus to taking a look at how the markets performed today. Well, the Nifty recovered over 150 points off the day's low to close the day in the green. It ended above the 22,400 levels, and Trent and BPCL were some of the stocks that helped in that recovery. In the broader markets as well, Nifty mid-cap advanced, ended in the green. Meanwhile, small cap declined for the second straight session. Sectorally, Nifty Realty was the top sectoral gainer, up over 3%, snapping its 3-session losing streak. Meanwhile, metals and pharma were some of the other sectors that ended the day in the green. And on the other hand, Nifty Bank and IT and autos were the sectors that declined in trade today. Well, that's all about the Wall Street, but let's take a look at how Wall Street is shaping up. While selling pressure continues on Wall Street, all indices opening in the red today. This, remember, is coming on the back of Donald Trump's period of transition comments. Citigroup has lowered its ratings on US stocks to neutral after yesterday's sell-off. Delta Airlines has also spurred concerns over the economy with its outlook of weak demand from the United States. So that's as far as Wall Street is concerned. And let's now shift our focus to IndusInd Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the big story of the day. The bank stock crashed 27% in trade today. This after we learned from our sources that RBI is keeping a close watch on the derivative portfolio issue. Derivative accounting discrepancies in IndusInd Bank may lead to erosion of net worth, that is up to 2.35%, while the bank expects this to impact its Q4 earnings. So we caught up with Ashok Hinduja, the chairman of IndusInd International Holdings, in an exclusive conversation on these news reports that have been coming on discrepancies in the bank's derivative portfolio. Let's go across to the gentleman and listen into what he had to say after that news broke.
Looking to the financial numbers, we see the bank is in a very healthy position. 65,000 is the net worth, 9 months profitability in this financial year. Operating profit is 11,000 some odd crores, and 1,500 or 1,600 crores, this problem which has come up in derivatives, it very well can be taken care. Now also, if there is any further capital raise, the promoter is ready to inject. We are awaiting our approval from 15 to 26%, though the policy is already in existence. it is in the process with the regulator to get this approval. But as I understand from the financial numbers, the capital adequacy is no problem. Their capital adequacy is already, even with this provisioning, will be over 15%.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, time now for us to step into a quick break, but lots more coming up on the other side. You don't want to miss that, so stay tuned.